Hey there guys, welcome back to Hursty Games and welcome to a tier list of the brand new icon evolution that has been brought out into FC24. Now, there was a lot of sort of speculation about this when this was coming out. It got dropped at the time of recording today. I think it was yesterday for the time you guys get to see this video, but I'm going to rank all 26 of the options that are available in this Evo, and I'm going to rank them from S tier being the best and D tier being I wouldn't bother. So if you end up finding this video enjoyable or helpful, then please do leave a like on it. Supports me, the video and the channel out a whole bunch. But without further ado, let's get into it. Now, for starters, one thing I will say is if there is a particular player on this list that you're choosing to do because you're either, they're one of your favorite players or they maybe played for your team, then crack on. I try to use Evos personally for the team that I support, which is QPR. And if I can't use them on a player that I support, then I'll use them elsewhere. Otherwise, they will always go on a player from the team that I support or a past player, that kind of thing. So obviously take this with a pinch of salt if you're looking to do players for that reason. But we're going to start off with Veron. Now, I do also have the players open here next to me so I can sort of see their stats. And Veron, for me, sadly, this card doesn't justify the 200,000 coin edition. I think it's a pretty stinky card. High stat going up to 89 passing. Pretty average across the board for everything else anyway. For me, Veron, we're starting off with a bang, boys. He's going straight into D tier. I just don't think it looks a good card. And yeah, personally, I think this is one to avoid straight out the gate. Up next, we got Crespo, whose card actually starts to look pretty nice. 89 pace, 90 shooting with 88 dribbling. The passing and physicality is a touch low, but if you wanted to throw like a catalyst on there to get the passing up a little bit and have nice high pace, then you could. But also, if you just want to go ahead, throw a Hunter and go for sort of, I think it's about 97 shooting. He goes to 96, 97 shooting, again with a healthy boost to his pace as well, then he looks pretty decent. I would say there are possibly better options on there, but I'm going to put him into B. I think he looks good. I think, does he look like a 200 plus K card? Maybe, maybe not. But I think that card's then starting to look quite decent and looks quite usable. And with being 88 rated, I don't think it rules them out of like future Evos down the line as well that we're probably going to see for icons and things like that. So I would say that actually this is quite a nice sort of middle ground. It's not the best option, but it's not terrible. So I'm going to throw him in that B tier, throw him in that middle sort of row. Up next, we've got Ian Rush, who sadly kind of falls into the similar vibe of Veron. I don't think looks crazy usable. And I don't think he really justify spending an extra 200,000 coins on him personally. 87 pace, 93 shooting, 86 dribbling isn't terrible, 81 physicality is not bad. Being that 3-star, 4-star, it is a little bit underwhelming. I would say he looks better than Veron as an option, but I would still say it's not one you're going to go for. He's kind of C/D. I'm going to put him into C, but he's at sort of the bottom end of C. He's not great. The way I'm going to sort of rank this is the ones on the left are the higher end of that tier, if you get me. So it will also be sort of tiered as well in each tier as well. But up next, we've got Zola. Now, Zola was one of the cards that when this was sort of leaked as an Evo, he was one of the main cards that people sort of suggested or were like, you should consider this guy, or look, Zola's going to fit into this and he looks really good. And I have to say, he does look really good. 88 pace and 88 passing, 90 shooting and 92 dribbling. It's a real good looking card with some nice boosts and does look very, very viable. I don't think he's quite S tier. I think he's probably in that A tier, and I think he looks pretty good as well. Has a nice playstyle plus, which is a good bonus. 4-star, 4-star, which is nice. High medium work rates, which for like a cam or centre forward sort of role, you're looking pretty good for that as well. So for me, he's a quite high A tier looking boost here, but I don't think he quite hits that S tier, which I think there are a couple, but for me, he doesn't quite hit into that one. Up next, we have Kluivert. Now, Kluivert, you've got 87 pace, you've got 90 shooting, 84 dribbling. Honestly, it's kind of similar to Rush, but with slightly worse stats in the places that you need them, if I'm being entirely honest with you. The only thing that Kluivert has over Rush is the 4-star skills. So I'd say they're pretty similar. Again, kind of C/D. So I'm going to put him bottom of C or top of D. I'm going to put him bottom of C for now, and depending on other players, if they kind of move things around a bit, then he might end up going to the top of D instead. But regardless, is a card that I wouldn't consider. However, Seedorf, who is up next, I think looks kind of good. I don't think he looks amazing, but he looks all right. Again, the question you've got to ask yourself, is he worth spending 200,000 coins plus the coins if you bought him. In my opinion, if you've got some of these cards, you consider it, but I wouldn't go and buy a lot of these cards. Anyone outside of A, I probably wouldn't consider going and buying to go and do it. If you have the card with one of these, and you can maybe consider people in B, but C and D, I'm sort of saying steer clear for now. And A and S tier are the ones you'd be like, if you've got the coins, you'd go and buy and then do the Evo on. Just to clarify, probably should have said that at the start. That'd have been helpful, wouldn't it? But Seedorf for me, 82 pace, 88 shooting, 90 passing, 88 dribbling, decent physicality, 4-star, 4-star, has the option of playing as a cam, or you can start him on the right or the left of the midfield as well. I think sort of similar vibes here to Crespo. His stats look nice, but it kind of doesn't look like the finished article. It's kind of like one again where hopefully those stats don't kind of impede him from future things. Again, where we're sort of seeing icons potentially being able to go into these things. So for me, Seedorf is kind of in that B tier. I don't really think like he's amazing, but I kind of think he's going to be slightly better than the likes of Rush and Cliver. So for me, he's a bottom of the B or top of the C tier. Kind of a little bit middle of the road, nothing too exciting. But if you had that Seedorf, you go, oh, I can put Seedorf in, and you haven't got a better option, you wouldn't be upset with maybe going forward with this Seedorf. I think the only issue is, again, does he look like a 200+ K icon card? Maybe, maybe not. I'll be honest with that one. Up next, we have Pires. Now, Pires, for me, again, it's kind of a bit of a middle ground, similar-ish stats to Seedorf. You've got 89 pace, which is obviously more than Seedorf. 83 shooting, a bit more than Seedorf. The passing slightly lower, 87, 89 dribbling, which is quite good as well. For me, it's kind of a similar vibe. It's good, not great. Do you know what I mean? Like this is a card that if you've got it, you think I might consider that. 4-star, 4-star. Again, him and Seedorf, I think, are kind of much of a muchness. I think he looks okay. He kind of just looks like a not as good Ribery at this point. And I don't know how expensive Ribery is, actually. I might have a quick look and just see, just for my peace of mind, how much Frank Ribery actually is. Bear in mind, Ribery also has a Team of the Year icon potentially coming out. But if you compare his stats here, Ribery is the same pace. Ribery's got slightly better shooting, worse passing, pretty much the same dribbling, and higher physicalities just on Pires. But Ribery does have the 5-star, 5-star, does have the technical plus, which is quite a nice playstyle plus as well. So I would kind of say this is a poor man's Ribery, if I'm being honest with you, because I'd be surprised if Pires is crazy, crazy expensive to buy. But it's kind of that middle ground, because Pires is 66k, which is discard. So this card will cost you 266k if you're buying Pires as well, which is half the price of Frank Ribery, but I'd say isn't going to be quite as good. So kind of worth considering if you're in that kind of vibe here. Now, Davor Suker. If you guys know me, you know I'm a big fan of Davor Suker. Really, really like Davor Suker. His Winter Wild card is half the price of this card. Stats-wise, you could argue, you know, this Suker's got 93 shooting, 91 dribbling. He's got some nice stats. He plays striker, whereas the Winter Wildcard Suker plays left wing. I can guarantee you the Winter Wildcard Suker is going to be considerably better than this card would be, and it's half the price. And for that reason alone, Davor Suker goes into the D category. I love Davor Suker. Absolutely love his card. But for me personally, it's not justifiable when there's a card that's half the price for the exact same player out as an SBC. For that reason alone, Davor Suker goes into D. Not because he's a bad card, but because it's an equally good, if not slightly better card for half the price. I love you, Davor Suker. Up next, we have Balak. Now, Balak looks real good. Hooligan card with this little plus bonus that he's going to get here. 84 pace, 91 shooting, 88 passing, 84 dribbling, 80 defense, and 86 physicality. For me personally, Balak is a real, real good shout in this. I think he looks real nice across the board. His stats just look pretty decent. He's sat at 110k. Now, it's not a crazy, crazy expensive card. Again, the question is that a 300k icon? Possibly not, but you've got to bear in mind there is a slight, obviously, decrease in the market at the moment, so that kind of would drop his price anyway. For me personally, he's high A or low S. I really do think that he does look good. Um, the thought is, are there better cards for cheaper on the market, or as good cards for cheaper on the market? And you could argue maybe in the grand scheme of things for the options in this list, I think Ballack is a low S or high A card. So I'm going to put him in low S for now. I just think that's kind of where he sits. I think he looks pretty decent. Frank Lampard, on the other hand, 80 pace, 92 shooting, 89 passing, 87 dribbling, 73 defense, 83 physicality. Looks good. Looks nothing crazy for me personally. The 3-star, 4-star, again, not massively ideal. I think he's a high C. I don't think I could really put him above a low B. And I think Seedorf and Perez, for me, are slightly more desirable than the Lampard card would be. But not a bad card. I just don't think it's great. Trezeguet, for me, exact same vibe as Suka. His Winter Wildcard is 100k. Yes, it plays a slightly different position, but it's a better card and it's half the price. Please don't do Trezeguet. Please don't do Trezeguet. Nice and quick one. Paul Scholes. Sadly for me, Paul Scholes in game isn't very good. I don't think he's a particularly great card. His Thunderstruck card was quite underwhelming. I didn't really enjoy using it when I have. And stats-wise, this Scholes doesn't look that great. He looks similar-ish to Lampard, but I think I'd argue maybe slightly worse than Lampard. Lower dribbling, lower defence. Has got higher passing. Shooting's similar. Pace a little bit lower. For me, it's a less desirable Lampard. So for me, he's going to go sort of mid to bottom of C here. I don't think he looks that fantastic. And again, for me personally, doesn't really justify a 200k spent on him. Nedved is a bit of a weird one for me. I like the look of this Nedved. I really do. 4-star, 5-star, 87 pace, 88 shooting, 89 passing, 90 dribbling with 80 physicality. I think this is a good looking card. I really, really do. The 5-star weak foot's nice. Can play obviously on the left or can play at cam. For me personally, he's around here with Crespo. I think he's either just before or just after Crespo. I think I'm going to put him just above Crespo. I think the 5-star weak foot's just going to sway it for me, just on the fact that his base card has that, and it's a nice little boost to him. I think Nedved's a decent card. Again, it's for me, it's just out of that bracket of like, I'd actually go and buy Nedved and then do this. If you've got Nedved, I think he's a good option. Finesse Plus is a real nice playstyle as well. I think it's a decent shout. Shevchenko. Now, if this guy was 4-star, 4-star, I genuinely think I'd have Shevchenko in B tier or A tier. I really do. It's a tricky one. The 3-star, 4-star kind of kills it. He's got 89 pace. He's got 94 shooting, 88 dribbling. The passing's a touch low. But for me, he kind of sits end of B. The 3-star just kills it for me. You can have plenty of good strikers that are 3-star skills. Openda's road to the knockout is one of my favourite strikers in the game, and he's 3-star skills. But he makes up for it with other things. I think the Shevchenko, again, considering it's going to be around 300k or just under, I just don't think it's justifiable with his price. I think it's a little bit mid. I think it's a little bit meh. And it's disappointing. And it's 3-star on a striker, for me, is not good enough. 4-star on a striker, I'm fine with. You can kind of get away with it maybe with a DM, but I just don't think it's good enough. And talking of 3-star for a defensive midfielder, you're looking at Steven Gerrard, 81 pace, 92 shooting, 91 passing, 86 dribbling, 77 defense, 85 physicality. I know I've just said on a defensive midfielder and it's his worst stat, but for me, this is a box-to-box DM. You throw a shadow on him, play him alongside an out-and-out DM, and you've got yourself a really, really nice card here. Similar vibes to the Lampard. I think it's good. It's not amazing. I think it's usable. I think it's the kind of card that, if you're a Liverpool fan, you're all over this 100%, obviously. I just think it's maybe slightly let down by the 3-star. He's going to go high end of C. I like him, but it's not great. I will be honest with you. Up next, we've got Bastian Schweinsteiger, another 3-star centre mid. Very similar stats to sort of like a Lampard with more defence, less pace kind of vibe and a bit less shooting, but very, very similar card otherwise. And for that reason, he's kind of just going to sit right next to him. He's going to sit right here. it's good, not great. It's kind of, it's good-ish. You know, that's the kind of vibe here. It's a bit of an underwhelming card, but it's not terrible. But it's not one I'm going to go out my way to do. Hadji, 85 pace, 90 shooting, 91 pace, 91 dribbling, 4-star, 4-star, finesse plus. It's a good card. I have to say, I was very, very surprised with this Hadji. I think he looks really good. For me personally, depending on where you're playing him, you kind of either run an engine or you run a catalyst. The physicality is a touch low. But in all honesty, as like a central cam, he's a low tier A for me. He's a good card. He's one that I would potentially go and pick up to do this. He's not bad. He really isn't bad. I think he does look like a much better card for the upgrade. And I think he looks decent. I'm going to be honest. 4-star, 4-star. Nice looking stats, good play styles. For me, I think Hadji's pretty good, and for that reason, he's in that A tier for me. And going right alongside him is going to be Ronald Koeman. I will be honest with you here and now. It's the perfect card to sort of start in a 5 and then move into the midfield. Although if you play 5 back in game, then seek help. But Ronald Koeman, he's got the dead ball specialist plus. He's got 79 pace, 90 shooting, 88 passing, 81 dribbling, 90 defense, 87 physicality, 1 pace off of being Hullet Gang. And for me, goes straight into A tier. I think he looks real good. I've heard that he's actually really good in game. The only thing that I would maybe say that kind of maybe causes this card to be not questionable, but maybe like, do you, don't you, is the fact that he does have a Centurion card. The Centurion card, however, is 89 rated. And I'll say to you, I'll just read off the differences in stats. The Evo Koeman has +2 pace, +3 shooting, +2 passing, +1 dribbling, +1 defense, +1 physicality. The question you have to ask yourself, for those slightly boosted stats, for those little boosts in what they are, which is not huge boosts, you're paying an extra 190,000 coins. So that's something you've got to bear in mind. That's something you've got to work out. Is that worth it for me? I think it's an A tier. I think it's a really good card, especially in comparison to some of the other cards on this list, which are, in my opinion, a tad underwhelming. One that's not so underwhelming is actually Laudrup. I think it's quite a nice card. 87 pace, 84 shooting. A little bit average, but 91 pace, 93 dribbling. Really, really nice stats. A hunter card, and he looks really, really good. For me, doesn't quite fit into the A bracket, but is going to be right at the top of the B bracket for me personally. I think he just eclipses Nedved, but they're very similar. That it could be that way either way. I think they're nice cards. Doesn't quite for me justify going and buying Laudrup, but if you had Laudrup in your club and you don't have one of these S or A tier players that will be on this list, then for me personally, I think it's a good player to go and pick up. Or to use if you've already got him. So yeah, I think Laudrup looks good, sits into that B category and is near the upper end of it for me personally. Then we have Closer. Now Closer has the exact same issue that Shevchenko has. The 3-star skills for me personally causes problems. 89 pace, 91 shooting, really nice. 76 passing is a touch low, 83 dribbling, maybe a touch low as well, and 82 physicality. But for me, again, that 3-star on a striker is just not good enough. It's maybe a little bit harsh, but I think in comparison to other strikers on this list, I'm actually tempted to throw Closer just straight into the D tier, and that's purely because his dribbling stats just are not nice. Like Shevchenko's at least got good dribbling to kind of go on top of some of those things. So for me, he's right at this bottom end here. I think I'm going to be really harsh and throw him into D tier. I just don't think Closer is that great this year. And I just don't think this justifiably costs anything personally. Might be a bit harsh, but that's where I'm putting him. Up next, we have Robin van Persie, 87 pace, 95 shooting, 87 dribbling, 87 passing, 90 dribbling, 4-star, 4-star. And for me, I think he just sneaks in here on this A tier. I think he's really, really quite good. You know what? He might even be slightly above Hadji, but I'll keep him in this order for now. That 95 shooting is phenomenal. You'd be over the moon using a player with 95 shooting and has 4-star, 4-star. It's a good card for me. Again, you kind of want to run either an engine or a catalyst, depending on how crazy you want to boost the pace, or if you want to boost the dribbling and agility a touch. But for me, Van Persie, I think, is a good, viable option. And I think he's a decent pickup here. So Van Persie, for me, goes into that A tier. Because he's got those first 4 stats in a striker are all quite important. Passing maybe the least, but all are quite important. And I think he's got good on all 4, plus has the 4-star. I'm here for it. Riquelme, 5-star, 4-star. Just putting that straight out there. 5-star, 4-star. 74 pace. The only issue with this card, in my opinion, is 74 pace. Outside of that, fantastic looking card. It really is. 88 shooting, 93 passing, 93 dribbling, and 69 physicality, which you could also argue is not fantastic. For me, I think the 5-star, 4-star, I've played against Riquelme a few times this year, and I've played against people who are considerably better than I am at the game who have used Riquelme, and they've been very good with it. I don't think you rush out to go and buy him, but I do think you've got to consider him as a decent option here. I don't think he's amazing, but I think he's decent. And yeah, for that reason, personally, he sits into that B tier. Not quite go and buy him, but if you've got him, you haven't got what you would deem as a better option. I think Riquelme is a decent player to look at. Up next, we have Ruud van Nistelrooy. Now, Van Nistelrooy's card here, 3-star, 3-star. I think we all know where this is going to happen here. 87 pace, 93 shooting, 74 passing, 86 dribbling, 83 physicality. 3-star, 3-star is a huge issue for me as a striker. I'd imagine his card has not really gone up at all with this coming out. I'd be very, very surprised. He's sat at 75k, which I can only assume is because he's 89 rated. But for me personally, he's in that D tier. And that's basically just down to his card not being good. It's kind of similar to Veron. He kind of falls prey to the fact that his base card isn't good enough. And Van Nistelrooy, for me, falls into that bracket too. The base card isn't good enough, and it doesn't justify the Evo. And I'm really sorry, the same issue here is going to happen with Alan Shearer. They kind of both fall into the same bracket. Both got really good shooting. The passing on Shearer is not terrible for a striker, but sadly, 3-star, 3-star, not the best power plus in my opinion anyway. And I just don't think he justifies the Evo. So for me personally, he goes to rock bottom in the D tier here, and I just don't think you could really argue with that one. Up next is Socrates, or Socrates. I'm probably saying it wrong either way. For me, the best option. Just what a card this is. He really does look really nice with this Evo. 85 pace, 92 shooting, 92 dribbling, 92 passing, 91 dribbling, 85 physicality, 4-star, 5-star. Lovely, lovely card. He really does just benefit so nicely from this this Evo, from this upgrade. I just personally think this, you know, every Evo kind of almost comes with a card that you think that this Evo was made for that card. This is the card that EA are like, yeah, you should use this guy. And you can kind of tell that people are like, this is going to be a good card. He's already extinct at 240,000 coins on console, 220 on PC. And I'm not surprised. For me, he's hands down the option for this. If you've got him, if you've got the coins, whatever. Just what a perfect card. I really do think this is the best option from this. And I think the stats speak for themselves. The fact he's gone untradeable speaks for itself. Socrates, for me, absolutely the best option here. And we're going to round things off here with Gary Lineker. 89 pace, 93 shooting, 74 passing, 87 dribbling, 78 physicality, 3-star, 4-star, 3-star skills. Why have you got to do me like this? For me personally, it's similar vibes to Shevchenko. I'm going to chuck him here in this C tier. Also, apologies, I screenshot the wrong page to get the picture of his card, which is why his stats are green, everyone else is a yellow. But that there is my list. Now, sadly, obviously, everything C and D for me personally is like a no-go. They're like cards that I just don't think are worth your time doing. In all honesty, I think Gerrard is maybe the only one I would consider out of all of this bottom 2 tiers. For me, anyone in D here is a no. As I say, these two because they've got SBCs that are half the price for equally good, if not better cards. Gerrard is the only one I would maybe consider out of this bottom row, or bottom 2 rows, I should say. These guys here, if I had any of these in my club, I'd maybe consider it, especially these front 4 here, because I think these front 4, again, just look good. I think their stats look nice, and hopefully when another Evo comes along for an icon, these guys will fit that bracket really nicely, and having Evo'd them once, for them to then be Evoable again, would be a perfect addition. These guys are all great, and as I say, anyone in A and above, if I had the coins and I was like, actually, I really want to use that card, I would go out of my way, get these cards, and then spend the coins on the Evo. So that's my thought process here. That's where I'm at. And then, yeah, Socrates number 1, Ballot number 2. That's my tier list for this brand new Icon Evo. Let me know in the comment section if there's any players you drastically disagree with. Let me know if there's any players that you are actually doing for this Evo. And let me know what you think of Icon Evos. I think this is a huge addition from EA. I really like it. I'm a big fan. And I'm all for it. I think this is really cool. Obviously, 200,000 coins is quite a lot. I don't remember how many FIFA points it is to do it. I don't use FIFA points, so that's on me. But thank you very much for watching this. If you guys have enjoyed this, please leave a like on the video. It supports me, the video, the channel, the series out a whole bunch. If you're new, hit the sub button and turn notifications on to be told anytime that we upload a video as well. Catch us on live streams over on Twitch, short content on TikTok. Both are linked down below. But for now, thank you so much for watching. I've been Tom. You guys have been awesome, and I'll see you soon. Look after yourselves, and of course, wash your hands. Take care.